I started a secret YouTube channel and told no one. Not my family, not my friends, no one. And I'm going to tell you why. I felt like my life was becoming a little too invisible. My dad moved in with me a year and a half ago and has dementia, and my kids were on their way out of the house when my dad decided to move in, and there is a deer that is watching me film this right there, which I think is actually pretty cool. So I felt like I was becoming invisible to myself, honestly. And I wanted to do something that was just for me. It wasn't for anyone else. I didn't want to tell anyone else because I wanted it to be just mine. Something that I created. It was my outlet. And when I was ready to share it with other people, I'll share it. And I was feeling pretty disconnected with myself. So I guess creating a version of myself that I could keep somewhat just to me was important to me. So I started this channel about a month ago. I felt like it would be fun and exciting, and so far it has been. I am a journaler on paper for the most part, so I decided to give this a try. And it felt pretty good up until I went to record my first video. And knowing that I'm putting things out there that I don't talk to anyone in my private life about felt a little strange, felt a little vulnerable, which is not my strongest point. So I'm definitely feeling more vulnerable to speak out loud to everyone else in my life since I started doing this. So that's a good thing. And I just felt like my life was becoming small. When I was journaling, thinking about what the future is going to look like, and this is before my kids moved out, it was more about enjoying my time to myself, figuring out who I was, and just reinventing myself at this point, being 55 years old. I work a full-time job outside the home, so moving my dad in has its own logistical problems, but so far we're working through those as much as possible. But when I was journaling about my future, since my dad has been here, it's been very hard for me to feel that excitement because I know what has to happen for me to get to that point in my life, and I really don't like thinking about those things. So I'm trying to find something that I do for just me, and that's where this has come in. So looking for like-minded people that are going through a midlife transition, midlife change, the sandwich generation, which I didn't even know what sandwich generation was until I started researching a little bit. And it's exactly what it says. You have your kids moving out, and then you have to bring a parent in, and you're just jumping from one responsibility to the next one. So I guess for me, starting this, I just didn't want anyone's outside opinions until I was ready to ask for them. Plus, I wanted to prove to myself that I still exist outside of just being a responsible daughter. I wanted to feel I'm still my own autonomous person. I was a hairstylist for 25 years before I got divorced. And once I went through that, I went into an office job, and I've been there for 12 years. And being a hairstylist, I miss that camaraderie of togetherness and people. You have those close relationships with clients. You share what's going on in your personal lives. It was almost like a therapy session every time you go in to get your hair done. On both sides, on my side as well as theirs, and I miss that. So I think this is another reason why I chose to do this as well. We always talk about, what's going on with our lives. I've been through a divorce, so I've talked about that with people. I've been through a major career change, talked about that with people. Reinvention, talked about that with people. And right now I'm going through another change of life. So I guess I wanted to ask if there's anyone that has secretly done something just to prove to yourself that you still exist. And I'd like to know what those things are. You can write them in the comments. I'm generally interested in knowing what other outlets people have maybe found themselves in besides what I'm doing. So my name is Heather, and my channel is called Empty Nest Interrupted, and I will see you in the next video. I think the deer left. Yeah, she did.